Hello. So, Unit 2, Stage 1, Paper 8, non-calculator, higher, November 2010, 25 marks like before, 30 minutes. All the Maths Watch quips are in pink. Sorry they're not all in the same place, but it is what it is. Question 1. Simplify 7a, add 9b, add 4a minus 6b. 7a and 4a are of the same type. 9b and negative 6b are of the same type. 7a add 4a is 11a. 9b take away 6b is positive 3b. The one that says 11a add 3b is D. Number 2. 56 times by 31.2 is equal to 1747.2. The value of 560 times by 312 is, so to get from this to this, I multiply by 10. To get from this to this, I also multiply by 10. So this is being multiplied by 10, and this is being multiplied by 10, then this needs to be multiplied by 100 to get my answer. So I'm going to add a 0 to the end, and I'm going to carry it across 2 places to get 174720. 174720. It must be B. Question 3. Factorize 12m and 3. So the common factor out of 12m and 3 is 3. So I know there's got to be a 3 outside my bracket. 12 divided by 3 is 4. M remains. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Therefore 1 remains. So it should be C. Question 4. Coordinates of the midpoint from C and D. So I'm going to add the coordinates together and then divide by 2. So it's going to be 9 add 4 divided by 2. 11 and 3 divided by 2. Now again, because my answers are in terms of halves, even though I would obviously like to put this in decimals, it makes sense to me to write it as it is. So 9 add 4 is 13. 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. 11 add 3 is 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So I'm looking for 6.5 and 7. 6.5 and 7 must be C. Question 5. Even though it's a trapezium, it makes more sense for me to split this into a rectangle and a triangle, just for ease of access. So this rectangle is going to be 36 because it's 9 times by 4. If that is 4 and that is 6, then that must be 2. Because obviously 4 add 2 is going to get you back to 6. So I'm going to do 2 times 9 divided by 2, which means that this is going to be 9. 9 add 36 is 45. Therefore the answer must be 45. Question 6. I need to do a multiplication of 32 and 3.85. Now there are many ways and there are many different sort of like avenues in which multiplication is done. This is my preferred way, so as long as you are comfortable with the way that you multiply versus how someone else multiplies, because obviously the answers will be unique, i.e. the same, it doesn't matter. This is just how I prefer to multiply longhand. So 0, 2, 1, 1, 7, 8, 9, 13, 1, 12, 1. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 20. 1, 2, 3, 20. If anyone hasn't seen this before but wants to look it up, it's called lattice multiplication. Question 7. What is 34,782 when rounded correct to 3 significant figures? So the third significant figure from left to right is not this one or this one, but this one. So really the question is asking, what is that number to the nearest 100? That number to the nearest 100 will 8 rounds up. So it should be 34800. 34800. Question 8. The length of a path is 17 meters, correct to the nearest meter. So half a meter either side, so it's going to be 17 down to 16.5 and up to 17.5. What is the least possible length of the path? Well, it's got to be 16.5 because I've spread my nearest meter into 2 sections, sort of like going across either side of 17. And then first 8 done. 9. The cuboid is shown on a 3D coordinate grid. OPT are vertices of the cuboid. The point P has coordinates 5, 3, 2. So this is the x coordinate, this is the y coordinate, this is the z coordinate. So the coordinates of point T. So what we should be able to see here is that T, very much like P, has come out of the z-axis in the same way, but it remains on 0 for the y-axis and 0 for the x-axis. So it's got to start with 0, 0, which obviously means that it can't be that one, it can't be that one, it can't be that one, and it can't be that one. So it means that it has to be that one. But as obviously it's a check, that ends in a 2, which means that that also needs to end in a 2. So I know I've got it correct. Number 10 is an expand and simplify question. So I need to apply whatever method you wish in which to expand brackets. I just think of it as first term and second term. So 3 multiplied by 2x is 6x. 3 multiplied by -5 is -15. Add, because there's an add, 2 times by x is 2x, and then 2 times by -3 is -6. So I can add the x's, I can add the numbers. 6x add 2x is 8x. -15, take away 6 is -21. I get my answer. Right, now specified from the last one, or by many points, by your teachers, your logic, etc., etc. The bearing of A from B is the same as saying B to A, which means that it wants this bearing here. Now, because these and this both point to north, I know that technically these are parallel lines. So because they're parallel lines, it means that this angle and this angle in here have got to add up to 180. So I know immediately that that angle inside there has got to be 75 degrees. Except I want this to go all the way around. So obviously angles around a point add up to 360. So really it's asking me to do 360, take away 75. That's going to give us an answer of 285. Therefore it must be C. 12. What is 60 written as a product of its prime factors? Now, product obviously means time, so I need to make sure that the answer features a time sign, so it can't be that one immediately. I've also got to make sure that all of the numbers that are there must be prime. All of the numbers here can be done further. 15 is not prime, and 1 is not prime. So even if I've not done it, I can still tell that it must be E. But just to illustrate the point, 60 can be split into 6 and 10. 6 can be split into 2 and 3. They're both prime, so we put a ring around it. 10 can be split into 2 and 5. They're both prime, so I can put a ring around it. 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. Therefore, it must be E. 13. First 5 terms of arithmetic sequence. What is the expression for the nth term of the sequence? So I need to find the difference between terms and then find the term that appears before 7. So to get from 7 to 10, I add 3. To get from 10 to 13, I also add 3. And so on and so on and so on. So the difference has to be 3. N is N, and then to go from 7 backwards, instead of adding 3, I'm going to take away 3. 7 take away 3 is 4, so I'm going to write 3n add 4, therefore it must be E. 14. Surface area of this cuboid. So with the surface area of the cuboid, I know that there are 3 pairs of 2 faces each. This one also appears over here. This one obviously appears at the back, and then this one obviously appears underneath. So really I'm doing 5 times by 3, which is 15. I'm doing 6 times by 5, which is 30. And I'm then doing 6 times by 3 for 18. 15 add 18 add 30 is 63. So 63 is 3 faces. I want 6 faces, so actually I'm doing 63 multiplied by 2 for 126. Therefore, it must be B. I think we're halfway now. 15. Expand the brackets. So again, people have different ways of doing this. I just apply FOIL. So first outside, inside last. X times x is x squared. 5 times by x is 5x. 7 times by x is 7x. 5 times 7 is 35. These are the same, so I can add them together. So I've actually got x squared add 12x add 35. X squared add 12x add 35. Oh look, it's E. The lowest common multiple, LCM, in question 16 are 24 and 40. So if it was me, I would just write down the 24 times table There's no point breaking it down into prime factors because usually they will give you a number that is easy to find. I'm going to stop out for after 5. Usually stopping after 5 is a good idea. And obviously if I then do the same with the 40 times table, oh look, I found the same number. So the answer must be C, 120. 70, factorize. I'm looking for two numbers that add to make this number, but multiply to make this number. So I'm going to write down all the factors of 12. So 12 is going to be 1 times by 12, 2 times by 6, 3 times by 4. So I need to find the pair that when I add them together, one of them will be negative and one of them will be positive. So obviously if I do negative 1 add 12, I have 11. If I do 1 add negative 12, I get negative 11, so it can't be that one. 2 add negative 6 is negative 4. Right number, wrong sign. 6 take away 2 though. 4, yes. So I know that it must be x minus 6, sorry, x add 6, x minus 2, because 6 take away 2 gets me to 4. 6 multiplied by minus 2 gets me to minus 12. So it must be A. 18. The number at the front has to be a number between 1 and 10, so I write the number in such a way that it is definitely between 1 and 10. There's going to be a multiplied by 10 something. This number is less than 1, therefore the power must be negative, and then I have to just move the decimal point back until it's between 8 and 7. I moved it back 2, therefore the number should be 2. 8.7 times by 10 to the minus 2. D. 19. Factorize completely. So I need to find all of the things that are common in everything. So 30 and 12 can both be divided by 6. So I know I need to take out 6. X squared and x can both have an x taken out, and y squared can both have a y taken out. 6 times by 5 gets me back to 30. X times by x gets me back to x squared. So that's the first term. 6 times by 2 gets me back to 12. Y times by y gets me back to y squared. 6xy, 5x adds 2y, A. Almost there. So, we need to first of all convert these to their top heavy fractions. So 4 times 1 add 3 is 7, so I've got 7 quarters. 2 times by 3 add 2 is 8. So I've actually got 7 over 4 multiplied by 8 over 3. I can obviously therefore write it like 7 times by 8 over 4 times by 3. I could just do the multiplication, but actually 8 and 4 share a factor of 4. So really I'm doing 7 multiplied by 2 over 3, which is 14 over 3. So obviously I can discount all of the ones immediately that don't have a 3 at the bottom. And there's a case of just now, how many times does 3 go into 14? Well, it goes 4 times with a remainder of 2. So really, I can say that 14 thirds is the same as 4 and 2 thirds. And that's how I know it's D. 21. This question actually says this. So 3a times by 3a is 9a squared. Minus 7c multiplied by 3a is negative 21ac. Same thing will happen there. And then negative 7c multiplied by negative 7c is positive 49c squared. So 21 and 21 make 42 in the middle. 9a squared minus 42ac plus 49c squared. So it has to be C. 22. Same thing again, finding two numbers that add to make this, but multiply not to get 8, but actually it's 24, because usually what we would do if there is a number before x squared, we multiply it by 8. But because 3 is prime, there are only two factors. So actually, I know it's got to start with 3x and x, which is why all of these start with 3x and x. And then my job now is to just think about which ones am I going to use to try and get this to work. So there is a plus sign at the back and a negative sign in the middle. So I know that both of them must have negative signs in the middle. So immediately that one can go and that one can go. 8 times by 1 definitely gets me to 8. But 8 times by 1 and then 3 times by 1 does not give me negative 10 in the middle. So it can't be that one. So it's just a case of now that I know that it's 2 and 4, It's just getting them in the right order. So if I expand this one, I get 3x squared minus 2x minus 12x and 8. Well, minus 2 minus 12 is minus 14. Minus 14 is not minus 10, so it has to be that one. 3 left. Diagram shows a cuboid on a 3D coordinate grid. F has coordinates 8, 4, 3. What is the area of the face DEFG? So DEFG is this rectangular face here, like so. So it's gone up the y-axis, but it is not necessarily factoring in the y-axis. That is factoring the z-axis, and it's also affecting the x-axis. So I need to look at the x-coordinate and the y-coordinate and multiply them together. So really this question says, what is 8 times 3? So the area must be 24. Question 24. Need to factorise it again. Now technically 18's got a few factors it could be, so potentially it could be 9x and 2x. It could be 6x and 3x. It could be 18 and 1x, but that's not usually how these questions go. They usually want a pair in the middle. Which again, why they all start with 3x and 6x. Now because they all start with 3x and 6x, I know it can't be this one. Minus sign followed by a plus sign. So again, I know that this and this have to be negative. So it can't be that one and it can't be that one. So it's now thinking about how I can write this down to try and get this to generate. So that's how we go. 6x minus 1. Let's try that. 3x minus 5. Because 5 is prime, there's only 2 numbers it can be. I might have potentially done it the other way around, but I'm not sure. So obviously, of the way that it's been displayed at the moment, if I multiply this out and I get back to this, I know I must be correct. So 6x multiplied by 3x is 18x squared. Negative 1 multiplied by 3x is negative 3x. 6x multiplied by negative 5 is negative 33x. No, it's not, it's negative 30x, apologies. Minus 3, minus 30, minus 33. So I know that this must be the correct factorisation because I know there's going to be a plus 5 at the end. Therefore, one of the factors has to be 3x minus 5, which is A. And then our final question, 25. 6 litres per second because it says it wants in minutes, I'm going to change this to minutes. So obviously the way that I need to change this to minutes is multiplying my seconds into minutes. And doing that, I need to multiply this by 60. And I've multiplied by 60. 6 times 6 is 36. So 0.6 times by 60 is also 36. So it's 36 litres per minute. And because it's 720, the calculation I'm redoing is 720 divided by 36. Well, 36 goes into 72 2 times. So 36 must go into 720 20 times. So it must be C. And there we go.